are you a dropout bum?
Yeah.
No, I'm a dropout skater, bitch.
Exactly. Yes.
No, but I just kept working hard, and Anne Vallely was how it all started. She was my girlfriend at the time. Introduced me to Rocco.
Okay.
And I got sponsored by Rocco, and it's all due to Anne. And then Anne went on to marry Mike V, and they have 2 wonderful daughters. And
Wow.
yeah, so Anne is just a wonderful woman, and I was at a trade show in Long Beach, and I was skating outside, I think, and she went all the way in and found Steve Rocco.
And told him
And
to
brought
come
him
out.
outside, and I did some tricks for him, and he said, wow, that's cool. Meet me in Hermosa Beach tomorrow. I'd like to see you skate, and Anne brought me there, and for the first time ever, there was that little 4-set in Santa Monica where people would grind on the ledge.
The little ledges down?
Yeah,
One side?
I did a 360 flip down the little stairs.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa. And Steve Rocco was like, whoa, I've never seen anybody do that. That's great. Come back to my warehouse. And he had like 3 warped boards on his shelf. He was just starting SMA Rocco Division.
Okay.
And he put me on the team. And it was all because of Anne. Wow. I was so excited. I'm sponsored.
Was she in skateboarding, or did she just know who to go to?
She knew people. Yeah, she was super cool. She knew all the cool bands. And Deanna was her best friend, Deanna Templeton, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What a
so for a
soul.
minute there, it was me and Ed. I was doing 360 flips. He was doing all the impossibles, and the girlfriends were best friends.
Wow.
And then Anne ended up with Mike V. And they're still, and that's
It's
so
still
rad.
together, yeah.
Super rad. So Anne is why I got hooked up with Steve
Isn't that
Rocco.
incredible?
Yeah.
Like, had the gall, even as a boyfriend, you'd be like, what are you doing? You got to go get this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I got to
I was
perform
super
and-
nervous. Yeah, I was super nervous. But I was lucky to have the 360 flips down enough to where that was
Right.
like, I couldn't do much. I mean, it was 88, I guess at that point. I couldn't do much on a skateboard. So that was sort of like the big, if I could do that, that would maybe like get him really interested. And it was literally the stairs are what?
It's 3 stairs.
It's
Tiny, but it was
They're
still
small.
like, oh, you know, and
Imperial
that
stairs.
that was like the big carnival prize.
Yeah.
That got me into,
That was your sponsor me tape. Was
Pretty
that
much.
live?
yeah, Rocco watching it
audition.
and me just being just super nervous and stuff, but genuinely really like kid-like excitement inside, you know, because that's the whole idea.
100%.
That's where you want to get to
Yeah,
ideally,
definitely.
right?
Yeah. How was your relationship with Rocco back then? Did you have one, or was it just kind of you were doing your thing and he was
Yeah, I
doing
mean,
his
he
thing?
was doing his thing.
Yeah.
And letting everybody do their thing.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And, you know, we were young kids focused on skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he seemed much older because when you're 18, anybody in their 20s
Yeah.
is going to seem like a mom or a dad.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
he and Rodney seemed like older dad and uncle kind of figures.
Yeah.
And they were doing humor stuff that was obviously sometimes went over our heads
Yeah.
and being controversial and like they were poking at people. And
Like no
I didn't
other.
really get a lot of it.
No.
We were just skating.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the graphics at that time were so controversial. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Everything.
especially for Blind and World and Plan B.
Yeah.
But yeah,
worked.
if it was over your head at that time, it's so crazy because when we go back and look at some, let's just say Javante's graphics.
Oh, yeah.
They were nutty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like back then it was definitely like everything is open. We're doing whatever to sell boards.
Right.
I didn't pay much attention to it, to be honest. I was, I was just more about like the skating. And then Rocco says, you're going to turn pro, but for Mark, who's coming over and starting Blind.
Wow.
Almost like you guys see Moneyball?
Yes, I have seen that.
Phenomenal movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Where they come in the room like, sorry, you're being traded to the, and they trade, it was
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like, hey, Jason, come into my office.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going to I'm turning you pro, but for Blind,
So like back then, like what was the general vibe between like the riders? Was there talk and stuff of just the Rocco and his shenanigans and like what he was doing? Like, cause there was like ad wars and like certain things. Were you guys like hip to all that, or were you just kind of like,
There was probably a part of me that was like, yeah, that's funny. The Powell spoof boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not cool to be like a big corporate company. I didn't I didn't really. Maybe sometimes I was along for the ride, thinking certain things were funny. But again, I was more just about Mark and skating. And Rocco was kind of doing his thing.
So you guys were kind of just in your own little
Yeah, there were never like fights or
No.
issues or any. The only issue was the Satan board.
That was the
You know what I
one.
mean? That was the only thing where there was like, I agreed to do it, and then I was like, no, I don't feel good about it, and I returned the check. And then,
wow.
And then Nodis used.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
They were giving you a check just to get that board, or I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it, and Rocco said, "I'll give you $10,000."
He said he'd give you 10 grand for you to do
And
that.
he gave me a check for 10 grand, and then I drove off with Mark, and I think I was like, I don't feel good about that, and Mark was like, yeah, I don't think I do either. Something like that.
Okay.
And I went back and said, sorry, Rocco, I just don't. I'd rather not do it. And I gave him the check back. And then Nodis got the board.
Nodis got the board.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which
Wow.
the lore goes that he broke his ankle on that board or something.
That's what
and
I'd heard, yeah.
That's what we hear.
Right.
We haven't had Nodis on the show to confirm
Yeah.
or deny, but
Yeah.
it was definitely a graphic. Like my friend had that one.
For sure.
And
I had it
I
as
was
well.
like, whoa.
Even
dude,
Rodney was like, I don't think you should do that, Jason. Even Rodney Mullen was like, I don't. And Rodney was very cool about it. He was like, I don't think you should do it.
But you guys must have been selling a lot of boards back then too. Like, were you guys getting royalties or just a straight
That's
up-
basically,
that's
there were
basically-
no minimums.
That's
You would
it.
just get $2 a board.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, we would sell like maybe 2,000 to 3,000 boards a month kind of thing.
That's a good check every
Yeah.
month for sure.
I mean, now it's
Yeah.
not really boards as much, right? Now it's
Yeah.
shoes and all
It
that
is.
stuff.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
mean,
yeah, I did the burger board,
Yeah.
the
Mhm,
Whopper,
the
the
Burger
burger.
King.
Yeah, that sold like, I think we sold like 4,000 of those one month.
Wow. But the guys in the 80s, they were selling 20,000.
Yeah,
boards.
right.
It was
The only
like-
thing I'd heard of that was close to the 80s was BAM.
Yep.
When we were at Giant and BAM was there with Element because of the MTV thing, I think they were selling like 10 to 15,000 of those things
At least.
a month
At least.
to kids all around the world that were putting things up their buttholes. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'd
BAM's
go,
cool. Here's a carrot.
oh my God.
I'm going to shove this carrot up my friend's butthole. We're going to film it.
Yeah. No, but skating with Bam, we were on audio together. We'd go on tours and literally half the kids just wanted Bam to slap him in the face or kick him in the nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a huge deal, right? That was
Yeah.
the whole Jackass thing, yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
Bam did his own, he had his own show.
Totally.
Yeah, Viva La
Viva La
Bam,
Bam.
right?
Bam.
Yeah.
Roger filmed all that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was one of the camera operators on that show.
And were you a carrot operator at any point, Roger?
Not to my knowledge.
He said not to his knowledge. He wasn't. Yeah.
Roger's like, no comment.
But where's that like button? Right? Is it right here or right here?
Just a little scroll coming down the bottom.
It's
Subscribe.
over to it's on your
It's on my
left.
right? It's on
No,
my
on your
left.
left.
Hey,
Yeah.
hit
Right
that
there.
button right there.
Right there.
Right
Yeah,
there.
please.
The like button's kind of like in the middle there. It's like we're kind of like
it's like right here?
Kind of.
Like
yeah,
right
and
there?
The subscribe's like over to the left.
Like right over there. All right.